It's time for a best-of-5 series of top-level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Terran versus Zerg, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Eternal Empire. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Terran SCVs. From South Korea, we have one of the highest-ranked Terran players in the world, a recent GSL Code S finalist. We're looking inside of the main base of Cure. His opponent, playing with the red Zerg drones in the opposite corner. I mean, this man, he recently disrespected me, man. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that video by now. It seemed like a lot of you enjoyed the video that Harston posted, where he analyzed one of my games. And, well, spoiler alert, at the end of that video, Serral told me that I sucked at StarCraft 2. But don't worry, I will give him another chance, okay? I will give him another chance. Spotting here, actually, I already spoiled his name. I'm sure you guys have already noticed it, though. You probably read it here at the bottom of the screen or in the title of the video. We have, of course, none other than Serral, the most dominant StarCraft 2 player of the last couple of years. So, a best-of-5 series between two of my personal favorites. Both of these guys, I mean, they're very well known for just playing the straight, like, very straightforward macro game. They don't really do anything too fancy, although recently, so far in 2020 especially, Serral has been mixing it up a lot more. He's been going for a variety of strategies. Like, for example, a couple of months ago, he was doing that 2-base Muta opener a whole lot, and he was randomly doing that. I guess it had to do with the map pool at the time, because, well, some of the maps, like actually this one as well, they had a very hard to take third base. Recently, he once again stopped doing it, but it was kind of weird, because Serral started doing that build order, the 2-base Muta opener, and then all of a sudden, all the pro gamers were like, you know what? I guess if Serral's doing it, we're gonna stop playing 3-hatch openers as well. I don't really know exactly what the reasoning for it was, because now all of a sudden everyone's playing 3-hatch openers once again. But it is kind of funny that everyone seems to be following suit to what Serral is doing. Alrighty, now Cure, like I said, he was recently in the GSL Code S finals. He went up against TY then. Now, sadly for him, that was a bit of a tough defeat. He actually ended up getting beat 4-0 in the grand finals, which is never really a situation that you want to be in. But, I mean, it feels kind of good as someone who's been casting a lot of Cure games over the last couple of years. I've been hyping up this man for, like, I don't know, 2 years at this point. And, well, recently at least, he's been looking absolutely phenomenal. So at the very least, you know, not to, like, you know, be too smug, but at least it seems like I was at least somewhat right? At least it, you know, I say a lot of people are pretty good, I suppose, but at least I was right when it comes to Cure. Anyways, let's see what this game is all about. So very standard openers, as expected here by both players. SCV was hanging out over at the third base, I believe, for just a little bit, so that's gonna make it difficult for Serral to expand right now. So, like I said, right, Eternal Empire, it's a bit of a funny map because, okay, I think he's actually gonna go for the 2-base lair opener here, like the really quick 2-base Spire. Eternal Empire, if you're looking at the map layout, right, you can technically take your third base over here, but this position really sucks because Terrans tend to take their third base right over here, and it's a very short walk to go from third to third if you decide to take it right over in this location as Zerg. So, as long as Terrans manage to block this location right over here, they can oftentimes force Zerg players to do something like this. So, a very quick lair is coming up already. This is exactly that build that I was talking about earlier. I'm pretty sure that Serral probably would have preferred taking the third base here, rather than going for the lair, but, I mean, you can't really fight it, right? Unless you go for, like, a really quick Zergling speed, but then you take an economic beating earlier on as well, and it doesn't really help you out in very many ways. So, this is certainly going to be a quick Spire opener here from Serral, unless he's going to mix it up once again, but I would be very surprised. In the meantime, on the side of the Terran player, he's going to go for that quick third command center, of course, now following it up with the starport, already opening up with double barracks. So, this is actually a bit of a curious build. Not something we normally see, so this is going to be a much later starport. It does mean that he's not really going to be able to put on any kind of harassment here on the Zerg player whatsoever. But I guess just simply forcing them not to take a third base at their preferred timing already slows down the Zerg's economy enough, right? So I don't actually mind this. It is going to be that Spire, by the way. Bailing Nest coming up at the 4-minute mark as well. This is to take care of any, like, for example, Hellbat-based pushes. You can still get Bailings out in time. But this is actually kind of cool. So Cure is already just, you know, slowing down this game a little bit. He's not too concerned about what this Zerg player is doing. He's just happily playing that macro game. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you go for a builder like Cure is going for right here is that the creep spread is going to get absolutely out of control. Since there's no Hellions really roaming the map and really no timing attack here coming for Cure whatsoever, I'm pretty sure that this creep over here will constantly be spread all over the map. And if you blink twice, it's going to be covering, you know, pretty much 50% of the map. You do have to cover it, though. You do have to spread it, Serral. There we go. It's like he heard me. Fantastic. No, but this is one of the downsides of opening up without a whole lot of Hellions. Back in the day, they were used primarily for roasting drones, but since players have gotten way too good at defending against these bad boys, generally speaking right now, it seems to come down to just slowing down the Zerg player, keeping them in check, and then also potentially slowing down some of that creep spread. I'm still really liking this position though for Cure. He's just happily macroing up. This will be spotted right now by Serral as well. He does have a nice little timing attack coming over here. But notice, I mean, normally these kind of pushes are done with siege tanks and stuff, right? In this particular case, he doesn't have anything fancy along those lines. He does have Hellbats, but I mean, Banelings are already out. Queens are in position as well, and well, Serral wanted to take a 4th base here. I really don't see this dealing all too much damage. Now, Stimpack is done. So this is one of those moments where if you control it poorly as Zerg, you can certainly lose, but I mean, this is Serral we're talking about, right? Well, this is not bad at all, though. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's also not good. Like, that was cleaned up pretty smoothly, right? So, obviously, right now, Serral's going to be able to start transitioning towards those Mutalisks. It's a decent enough trade. I don't think anyone really came, really far ahead there at all. Zerg lost a little bit more gas. Terran lost a little bit more minerals. The most important units, though, for the Terran player here are still up in the air. Keeping those medevacs alive is super critical. Now, oh! Wait, what? Is he gonna... This is odd. Is he gonna go for a... I don't actually know what kind of strategy he's playing here. He's adding on 2 factories right now, going for the additional gases over at the 3rd. 2nd engineering bay, though, is coming up. So I think that this is gonna be like a... It is still gonna be a bio approach, but he certainly plans on getting something done. Is this gonna be like heavy siege tank? And oh my god. He's opening bio, but he's transitioning into mech. This is really neat, actually. So Zerg right now is going into Mutaling Bane, which is fantastic against Bio Terran. Not so good, though, generally speaking, against mech, especially if, like, say, a bunch of Thor start roaming the map. It's not awful, though. A lot of Zerg players do still like playing Mutas against mech, but it's definitely a little bit different. The weird part about this, right? We do see this every once in a while, but the weird part about it is that we actually saw some upgrades here. Wait, hold up. Okay, I think he actually ended up canceling one of the engineering bays here. Maybe that was just to try and, like, slow down this Zerg player. Very cool. So he is going to go for a transition right now towards mech. Here's the Thors coming up. Additional factories are going to finish up here as well. I hope that Cure decides to play this build once again in one of the upcoming games as well. Because obviously this is a best-of-5 series. I would like to keep a bit of a closer eye out on it, because that was really cool. Alright, well, this is going to be the moment, though, where Serral has full map control. You can try and get cheeky here and, for example, try and sneak out a, I don't know, like a medevac or something along those lines to watch the other side of the map. But it, generally speaking, doesn't help against someone like the caliber of Serral. He's just going to be able to run you around for a very long time. And this is where Serral can do whatever he likes, right? Now, Thors are absolutely fantastic when it comes to dealing with Mutalisks. However, obviously, Mutas can just simply fly away, right? So that's kind of the upside here. Now, Thors are really scary, though. Clumped up Mutas, they take so much damage. Takes only a handful of those Javelin missiles to gun them out of the sky. But if controlled well, these Mutas should still all stay alive. Interestingly enough, Zerg is actually taking this base right over here rather than the one on the low ground. Creep threat, by the way. It's getting out of hand. It's going all over the map. Probably not perfect. He probably could have spread it a little bit faster, but, I mean, as long as you're covering your section of the map and you can force the Terran player to fight on the creep, that's really the most important part. Whenever you can roll those Banelings into that Terran army on creep, it's so much easier to get them to connect where you want them to. Now, triple missile turret over here. Ugh. Not quite ideal. This is just buying a bunch of time, right? So I love the addition here of the Medivacs. So those Medivacs from earlier are now used to carry around those Thors. This is fantastic because you can use those boosts to make them chase those Mutalisks. So if you can connect with 2 Thors once on the Mutas, then pick them up into Medivacs, boost, as cool people say, after the Mutas, and then make them hit once more, you can actually clean up an entire group of them very easily. So it is a neat little micro trick that you can try and pull off. Very difficult, though, to properly do. Alright. So Interestingly enough, like, I still can't quite wrap my head around this. He did open up with, like, you know, Stimpak and Combat Shield, which would indicate a bio opener for sure, but he is going for a full mech transition right now. I like it, but I don't really know exactly if Serral is the opponent where you want to be experimenting with this build order, you know? Maybe it's something that he's been playing more often. I haven't seen that many Cure games recently. It is cool, but I'm a little worried that this is just going to allow Serral to do whatever he likes. And, well, that's kind of what's going on right now, right? He's going up towards a hive. He's getting himself +2/+2. He's even going for a Roach Warren right here, because he's like, well, wait a second. If this is going to be full on mech, may have to make myself a couple of those Roaches and Ravagers. But Serral now is pretty much up to, like, 90 workers here, and he's getting a lot of money. So, tons of Banelings are morphing in here as well. Those Mutas, though, ooh, you got to be so careful with those. You know what? Ooh. Nice little bit of control here regardless. Here come the Banelings though. Is he paying attention? He is. Very, very nice. Oh, that could have been such a disaster. At the same time, massive Baneling flank as well over at the Planetary Fortress. And this is kind of what happens when you spend a lot of money on a lot of things that aren't really, you know, keeping up with you in the later stages of the game. Serral has got so much money. He's just going to be able to replenish this army super easily. And he's been very, very, how would you say that? Like, very, very steady when it comes to the units that he's got, right? He's not doing anything fancy. He's not really taking any risks. He's just playing stock standard Zerg as you're supposed to. It makes it look easy, though, but it's actually really, really difficult to pull this kind of thing off. While the Banelings are controlled over at the third base. The Mutas are darting in and out. But what this is really doing is that it's buying Zerg a lot of time. So once again, Serral right now is basically maxed out. He's adding on more and more Banelings. The creep spread is... This one's in the back, right? Am I crazy? Unless Cure gets the sickest of sickest engagements, I don't really see this Zerg player rolling over here anytime soon. It's gonna be difficult, though, to break this Terran player, right? Because there's still a lot of Thors, there's still a lot of Siege Tanks. Actually, there's only 5. 2 more do come rolling down that ramp as well at this point, but... Yeah, this is one of those games where you look at it from a Terran's point of view and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Well, not get too fancy against, you know, the best players in the world, for one. Obviously, by no means, though, is this game over yet. Cure can certainly claw himself back into this game, but I think it mostly requires right now a mistake from Serral to let that happen. Banelings over at the natural. Mutas over inside of the main base. They're going to continue hunting whatever they can. Zerglings will now be able to flood that natural again as well, and maybe, just maybe, he's going to go for a big flood over at the Planetary Fortress again as well. Oh, man. This is a trait that a Zerg wants to take, man. You don't really want that many Mutas necessarily. Well... You know what? I said that, but that was actually more Liberators than I thought. Liberators deal splash damage, obviously. And they're actually surprisingly tanky. Wow, I take that back. I actually thought that was going to be a fantastic fight there for Serral. But that really wasn't that great. Alright. One thing that I do like right now for Cure is the fact that Serral doesn't really have a late-game army, right? Now, the argument could be made that Zerg doesn't really have a really good late-game army composition in the first place. But, I mean, he's going to be reliant, very much so, on being able to remax multiple times. So if Cure manages to max out here at some point, which it looks like Serral is just not going to allow, Serral is going to need a second army to deal with all of these Terran units as well. So once again, an awful lot of damage here is being done. See some movement here on the minimap once again. Maybe he wants to go into that Planetary Fortress once more. Basically what Serral is trying to do right now, he's just trying to let this Terran player mine out these bases. And now that a new base is attempted to be acquired here by Cure, I wouldn't be surprised if either he runs into the natural or he, you know, goes for a full assault to make sure that that base gets shut down. I don't know if I like this positioning too much, though. Yeah. That one Siege Tank over there having a grand old time. 17 kills already. There is a Zergling here burrowed underneath for some reason. Those structures cannot land on top of this. It's one of the things that science can't explain. Couple Banelings burrowed in the main base. And as indeed the base gets attempted to be acquired, Serral is gonna run in over here. Now, these traits, right, mind you, they look really quite good for Zerg, but they're actually like cost efficiency wise, not that fantastic. You can see, despite the traits looking like pretty much as good as they could be, you can see the amount of stuff that Serral has lost throughout this game. And that's what Cure needs to be banking on right now. He's getting himself the +3 upgrades. He's getting himself... Well, he actually needs to start up the second one as well. That's a big mistake. He really needs to get that second upgrade going as well. He needs to make as strong of an army as possible. And then, you know, go from there. He needs to make sure that he gets one really, really powerful force out. And then hopefully for him, he can crush that Zerg army and get the tempo advantage. Okay. Is this gonna be something you want to run 50 Banelings in, though? I'm not sure, man. I'm never quite sure about running in Banelings. This position here for Cure looks pretty good. But with a new base acquired, right, Cure is gonna be able to max out multiple times relatively easily. Now, Infestors were added into the mix as well. Neural Parasite is done, so here we go. This is gonna be the big push right here from the finisher. Is he gonna be able to get the connection that he is looking for? Ultras, in the meantime, working on the Planetary Fortress. 29 SCVs full. And once again, Serral takes a decisive victory in battle. But these traits, once again, they're not the most cost-efficient. Cure's gonna be knocked back to 150 supply. He's desperately trying to make sure, and he's finally realized, by the way, that he needs to get that second upgrade going. Yeah, he's trying to make sure that he can max out here eventually, but Serral's just not letting it happen. Notice as well how Cure has not really done any damage here whatsoever, like, throughout the game. How many workers has he killed? He's killed 2 drones. Like, this is about as passive as you can be as a Terran player. The entire top left-hand section of the map is completely undisturbed. All of these bases have been acquired by Serral. He's mining way more stuff than this Terran player. I'm not personally a big fan of whenever you let Zerg just do whatever. It feels like you can't win those situations. Once again, though, this Terran army looks absolutely menacing. Ugh, this fight is not that good for Zerg, though. Yeah, he's not going to be able to kill that base. Mass repair, siege tanks in the back. Thor's coming up for the move as well. These traits are so terrible for Serral, but... I mean, when you're mining like twice as many resources as your opponent every minute that goes by, you don't need to take very efficient traits at all. You just need to make sure that you, you know, don't let them max out. Oh, a couple of infestors. Cheeky, cheeky infestors. Army supply-wise right now, by the way, Terran is ahead. That is primarily due to the fact... Oh my god, these infestors are insane. That's primarily due to the fact that there's so much supply caught up in workers here for Serral. But look at the bank still. 3 armor upgrades here are going to finish up in about, well, 8 seconds. As you can see on the right-hand side of the map. You might be waiting for that. Well, here we go. Neural Parasites being utilized on the siege tanks in the back. Is there enough Terran right now to break through this Zerg army, though? That is still a lot of Zerg units. And the cost efficiency here is absolutely insane. Now, I know there's some Terran players watching this right now that are like, oh my god, what can you do to beat a Zerg in this kind of scenario? I'm mostly viewing this right now from the Zerg's perspective, in the sense that Serral has been running like 7 maxed out army at this Terran player. Terran has not gone over, I think, like 160 supply here at all. And somehow Terran's still in the game. Maybe that's a little bit of bias, though. It probably is. It probably is. I mostly play Zerg, as you guys probably know. But it feels like Terran is just so sturdy. And I'm still a little bit worried here for Serral because, well, at least in my personal experiences, I've lost so many games from this perspective. I don't think that Serral is going to give this up, though. I think what he's looking for right now is rinse and repeat. After these 2 bases are mined out, where is Terran going to go? Nowhere. This base has been mined by Zerg. Bottom right-hand corner is too far away. So, as long as Serral, you know, doesn't take an absolutely horrible fight or blows up all of his own Banelings or something like that, he should be okay. Here we go. Wave 74. This is going to be the one. Will he capture it or will he let it slip? Yo, his palm spaghetti. Corruptors in the meantime are puking on that planetary fortress over there. And there it is. Cure is forced to tap out of this game after, well, what felt to be like him losing for the last 10 minutes. Alright, so here we go. Game 2, we find ourselves on Everdream. And would you look at that? Cure decides to send out an SCV right away at the very beginning of the game. Now, there's a couple of options that he's got, but they pretty much all involve proxy barracks. I wonder if it's going to be 2 or 3 barracks. We'll have to see how many of those bad boys he decides to send across the map. There we go. Second one comes up right now as well. Question is, where is he going to be planting down those structures? It looks like one of them at the very least is going to go up right here in the center. And there we go, by the way. Third SCV now also moving. A second question that I also have right now is whether or not Serral is going to end up drone scouting. Serral and Raynor have been drone scouting, especially on this map in this matchup. Looks like he's going to skip it this time around. Most of the time they sent the drone that scouts their site. Also with the one that you know, plants down the hatchery. Anyways, so it looks like it is going to be a triple barracks opener. Is this going to be spotted here by Serral? Look at these structures, man. I wonder if Cure knows where Serral likes to send his Overlord scouts, because this seems to be pretty much perfect. By the way, for those of you wondering why one of those barracks is so far off on its own, Zerk has a different response to a 2 Rex than they do against a 3 Rex. So it's actually, oh my god, I think this is perfect. Yeah, this is perfect. Nicely done, Cure. He knows where those Overlords of Serral go. Second one moving across the map, and this is not gonna be spotted whatsoever. All right, so Marines will be coming up here. He's still actually not showing anything, right? So all that Serral knows right now is that he's going up against the standard opener. He's expecting a Reaper to come across here very shortly. Now, if this Overlord dies, that is game over. Serral right now sees what's going on, sends the Overlord to the pillar, so that's important. That way it won't be gunned out of the sky. Losing that one, that would be an absolute disaster. Now, he is pulling a couple of drones as well to try and see if he can prevent any bunkers from coming up. And actually, he decides to pull way more. He doesn't know if it's 2 Rex or 3 Rex at this point. Still has not spotted exactly where these units are coming from. One brave little drone is going to try and figure out exactly what is happening. I don't know if it really matters at this point, because you're not really going to be able to start up Zerking speed or additional queens or anything like that anyway. He does know right now that it is going to be 3 Rex, because, I mean, he sees one of the Rex by itself. But I think that this is in the bag, right, for Cure. It comes down to the control here, I guess. If that bunker finishes, this is going to be so much easier. Now, nice little bit of damage here being done by Serral regardless with the drones. But obviously, every single second right now that goes by, he's barely getting any money. Ooh, is he going to be able to finish this one? Oh my god, he will. Just barely in time. SCV actually pops into the bunker as well. And, well, yeah, the spine crawler, it's good. But what are you going to do? Overlord popped out of the sky as well. And at this point, I'm a little bit concerned here for the finisher. If he can kill, you know, anything here inside of the main base. Imagine if he kills the spawning pool. That would be absolutely amazing. I think he doesn't really want to split up the units, though, and I think that's a bit of a risk. Just keep producing more units. He is, by the way, expanding behind this as well. But yeah, GG is called. Cure wins game number 2. Yeah, so for some reason, they've added a countdown timer, not only to the games, but also to the replays. So every single time I take a breath, right? I see the replay bar loading in, I take a breath, I'm ready to cast. There's a countdown first. It's a little bit anticlimactic. I'm not sure why we need it for a replay. But regardless, here we go. Game number 3. We find ourselves on Pillars of Gold. Now, that was a bit of a gamble, though, for Cure, right? Because if those barracks got spotted, I mean, by one of those Overlords, for example, that would have been an absolute disaster for him. It worked out, but just barely. I wonder if Serral's going to be intimidated by that kind of style as well. Maybe he's just going to end up sending, you know, a drone once again on his side of the map as well to scout exactly what's going on. First Overlord here, checking out the most likely proxy locations. Second Overlord, also now used for scouting. So Serral won't really know too much when it comes to the Terran side of the map, but he will find out pretty much all the locations where Terrans can get cheeky with their very first structures. Looks like in this particular case, though, no proxies are coming up, but you can see Serral adjusting in this game already. Not sending any OVs across the map. Well, maybe he will send one here in just a little bit, but yeah, he's making sure that at the very least he's not going to take another one of those silly losses very, very easily. I mean, you may wonder, right? What are the odds of my opponent going for the exact same build order once again? I don't know how many of you watched. I think this was WESG. Maru versus, I don't know, TY or something a couple years ago. I believe it was Maru that, like, proxy 3-Rex, like, 4 games in a row. Like, absolutely ridiculous, you know? Game number 2, you're like, okay, there's no way he's gonna do it again, right? Game number 3, there's no way. He just did it twice. There's no way he's gonna do it again, right? And then game 4, he did it again. I believe that was Maru. I believe it was Maru versus TY. Anyways, really funny stuff. Something, yeah, that you just play the sickest of mind games. Because what are the odds When your opponent is one of the best macro Terrans in the world, that they're gonna do the same stupid cheesy build several times in a row. Anyhow, nothing out of the ordinary. By the way, another option here for Serral would just be to go for like a pool first. Pool first is not necessarily like a guaranteed hold against triple proxy, but it makes things a little bit easier. It makes things a little bit easier, usually. I mean, I say that right now, but I'm actually thinking about it because on some of these maps, you're going to be able to put down a bunker much closer to the hatchery, and it creates like all kinds of drama as well. I don't actually know what the current stance on that is. It may very well actually be the case that I'm wrong there, and that actually pool first is considered to be worse against triple proxy Rex. Maybe maybe it's better against double proxy Rex. I'm not entirely sure. Anyhow, yeah, because you also slow down your queen production, right? Plus you don't have the creep here. I don't know. I open up hatchery first every single Zerg versus Terran anyway. Seems to be the better move overall. Plus, I like the fact that my queens line up with energy. This makes it a little bit more straightforward to play. Anyhow, once again, very quick third command center right here for Cure. I want to keep an eye out right here on exactly what he decides to do. Is he going to go for a second barracks once again? I doubt it. Third gas is coming up. You know what that means, right? Well, maybe you don't. Actually, it's just a second gas. Never mind. Means nothing. I forget all I said. I thought this was going to be a super quick third gas. This is probably actually Cure playing the mind game here with Serral. Knowing that Serral will probably scout here in just a little bit, he may very well, you know, think as well that it's going to be a battlecruiser opener. Normally the only time where when you decide to go for a third gas here on the low ground is if it is going to be a BC opener. But, well, you could still go for battlecruisers actually. Second factory coming up right now. Okay, well, it won't be battlecruisers. Probably a Viking. There we go. Marines are patrolling all around. So that means that this Overlord has a very small chance of seeing anything. Yep, second Marine. Jimmy and his pal, they're gonna force that Overlord back to the golden pillar. The pillar of gold, I mean, excuse me. It is, I think, gonna be a blue flame opener. So a heavy Hellion opener here where you eventually get yourself the blue flame upgrade. This is one of those pushes that can severely shut down the Zerg player. So there's there's a couple of cool moves here being done by the Terran. Really quick third command center, so that indicates a macro opener. But he's also going for one of those builds that can just accidentally win you the game, you know? Like if Zerg decides to play a little bit risky, they may just accidentally die to a couple of blue flame boys. And there it is, by the way. Infernal Pre-Igniter is coming up. Sadly for him, though, I looked at the production tab there, and I saw a couple of roaches coming up. I haven't really been paying attention here to the main base of the Zerg player, but roaches are already being produced. And what do you do at that point with the Infernal Pre-Igniter? Do you just keep it up? I guess so. Apparently you do keep it up. Now, I don't really like this position too much right now for Cure, though, because this is going to be a little bit of harassment here by Serral. So he's only sending a small handful of units across the map, and now he's droning behind it once again, getting himself a lair. We'll see what his tech is going to be as a follow-up. Blue Flame is obviously still pretty powerful, though, even against Ravagers, right? Like, it just makes the Hellions stronger. If you already committed to it, may as well. Ooh. Medevac almost actually gets biled down. Ooh, I love the addition, actually, here of the Viking as well. The Viking can eat quite a few hits. Nice little bit of target firing right here by Serral, but he's going to end up losing, I think, all of those Ravagers. Looks like it anyway. Did he just... Oh my god. He just picked up the landed Viking inside of a medevac to chase down Ravagers. Welcome to 2020. Now we've seen it all. That is... Okay. It doesn't happen all too often that you pick up a landed Viking in a medevac, but... It is cute. All right, Spire and Bailing Nest as a follow-up here from Serral. So he's just been happily droning up. I'm still really liking this position for him. Despite the fact that his Ravagers got killed, the Ravagers really aren't all too important as this game progresses. Speaking of not important things, though, well, Stimpacking is important, but Blue Flamer right now, it's not going to be that great. Okay, so what he's doing right now, and I do like this move, he's pushing back the Overlords, right? So this Viking has been hard at work, and sadly it does die there after killing Ravagers and after killing Overlords. It cleared a path right here for this medevac to go into the main base unscouted. It's loaded up with 4 blue flame boys. So this is something that can deal an awful lot of damage. And it's something that Serral won't see coming until the units are probably already inside of his main base. Now, he is very, very good when it comes to responding rapidly. This is going to be spotted. Hello, hello. Well, how many drones can he get? 6 drones, 8 drones, 9 drones. Pretty good. And there we go. Only 1 Hellion goes down. Not bad at all. Now, mutas are coming up, so... Oh, actually, at the same time, we have a couple of the Blue Flame boys, too, over at the 3rd base. And this is nice. I like this a lot. So, I was critiquing the opener a little bit there from Cure, but he's showing us that even after that, if you can plan ahead right and you can get the Viking in the correct spot, you can get the Viking to clear the path for the medevac, you can still get a whole lot of work done. Alright, well, that medevac is sacrificing himself. It's a little bit sad, dude. It's an empty medevac, though. Probably trying to outsmart Serral there, but Serral did not fall for it. Medivacs, or sorry, missile turrets are coming up here. They're not done yet, though. Ooh, and this is painful. While a bunch of units were indeed... well, actually, you know what? Only 1 siege tank. I thought maybe he was going to get the 2nd one as well, but a couple of Marines came up for the rescue. Yeah, I actually don't think it was that painful. I take it back. That was totally reasonable. Good defense here by Cure. Losing 1 of those siege tanks is not great, but that's acceptable. Oh my god. Cure. No way. Did that actually... Alright, Serral didn't see that. Or maybe he did, then he just ignored it. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, what? Really? Oh. Alright. That was a very, very brave SCV that started up the construction over there. Now, Liberator in the main base did go unscouted. Looks like a couple of drones once again were killed here. Don't really know exactly what that was. May have been another Hellion, maybe a Medivac drop or something like that. Yeah, I'm liking this position here for the South Korean player a lot more. That said, though, we're now approaching the comfort zone of Serral. I don't think Serral has any particular weaknesses. He's extremely good mid-game, late-game, early game. He doesn't really have anything where he struggles. That said, though, I feel like he's probably the scariest at this point in the game, where he has full map control. He has been messed with a little bit. It comes down, I think, primarily here to the next timing. What is this? Why is this here? Hello, Cure. Did you forget about it or something? What's going on? Is this just a taunt to Zerg? Anyways, I think this comes down primarily to the next attack here of Cure. So notice here, he's playing a bio-based army, so that's a little bit different from your regular conventional mech force that we saw last time around. He has +2/+2 coming up. Now, by the time that these 2 upgrades finish, he's going to be maxed out. And that push is going to be the risky one. That's the one where he is likely going to put all of his eggs in one basket, okay? He just added on more production. Why is he having this 4th command? What's going on? Medevac in the main base gets sniped, and that's cool and all, but what in the world's happening here? Now, these units, once again, they're planned ahead, right? So he's cleaning up creep, so he can eventually go in for the push with those siege tanks. I don't know why that 4th command... What's going on? There you go. He finally continues production of it right now, but that has been there for, I don't know, like 3 minutes? That's very odd. I guess... So one thing a lot of pro gamers do is that they have only camera hotkeys. So there's a camera hotkey for the natural, main, and the 3rd base. And usually they scroll as little as they can, right? They don't really want to scroll the screen as much. Maybe Cure was just not scrolling the screen there at all. And, well, centering on the main, natural, and the 3rd just simply didn't give him the vision of that base. I don't know. A little bit odd there. Nice little bit of damage done here, though, by the Mutalisks. Getting a +1 armory. Oh my god, if he gets these 2... Oh my god. Well, this is, like I said, kind of like the strategy for Cure. Sadly for Serral, he didn't get the one with the... Oh my god, oh, that's so painful. I was going to say, sadly, he didn't get the one with +1 or +2 weapon upgrades, which is way more important for Terran, but... Well, that is... that's nasty. That may be the nail in the coffin, to be completely honest with you, man. Like, that is such a huge advantage. Yeah, a couple mutas died there. Only actually 3 in total. This is really, really bad right now for Cure. 4th command center finally finishes. But basically, right, you set up for a timing attack with this kind of push. He basically set up for this timing attack when he started up Stimpack, which is like 8 minutes ago. And, yeah, he's just got the knight. He just got the knight. A couple of banelings right now. Rolling forward. And this is going to be Serral using a very similar approach as he did in the previous game. But you can see Cure is a little thrown off right now. Not looking as crisp as he did in that very first match. we go. Cirque is maxed out. Got a lot of money. Oh, and now with most of that anti-air gone, it looks like the mutas can start roaming forward as well. That said, though, more Marines come running down the ramp, but that's the 4th base gone. Serral gets out of there, reproduces 78 Zerglings. +2/+2 is going to finish up here for Serral. Hive is done as well. Is Adrenal Glands already done? No, he'll probably start that one up here in just a little bit. He's just prioritizing getting additional Banelings here. This is just him playing overly cautious. I think he could probably start up Adrenal Glands just fine, but he doesn't want to be caught off guard against this really strong Terran pusher. This is going to be the one chance, okay? This is going to be the one chance that Cure has. Oh, you know what? Turns out Adrenal Glands was indeed a little bit too expensive. Would have cost him a lot of Banelings. All he needs to do right now is just shut down this push, right? Apparently he's feeling confident enough as well that he's gonna fly the mutas across the map. With his missile turret gone, that 3rd base is in shatters. And yeah. Unless Cure can pull a rabbit out of a hat with these units that he's got, he loses 2 more siege tanks. I don't really see it happening here. Serral rinses and repeats. Banelings come in from the back as well. And while the Medevac will be there for the hot pickup, the mutas in the meantime killed the 3rd base. Phenomenal game right there by Serral. Absolutely fantastic. Alright, so the next map is Death Aura. So in the previous game, right, we saw Serral taking a little bit of damage in the early game, but as soon as the mutas started flapping their wings, it kind of felt like he was just in control. And I don't know, maybe this is one of the signs of greatness, right? This is one of the things that, like, elite athletes do as well in conventional sports. They make it look easy, right? When you look at the guys, like, running, I don't know, like what is it, like the 400-meter dash and all that. I don't really watch that many conventional sports, but they make it look easy. And then next time around, you try and do a sprint yourself, you absolutely realize that they're going so fast and that you're not even remotely close. It looks easy, but what Serral's doing here in these games is extremely difficult. Making the decision there to jump into the main base and to snipe the 2-2 upgrades, it is something that can work really, really well for you, but it can also completely mean the end for all of your mutas. And then all of a sudden, right, that +2/+2 maxed out timing attack is going to be lethal, right? That's going to be the end of the game. So you got to make those decisions in such a very, very quick like, you only have a second, really, to make that... No, not even a second. Like, you only have a very short while to... Yeah, it's... You guys get what I'm trying to say. It's very impressive. Now, I guess that there's going to be a couple people watching this video in the comment section. Well, all that Zerg needs to do is... This is what you sound like, by the way, when you type those comments. All you need to do is make mutalings and banes, and then you just roll forward and attack move. That's... Yeah, no, that's not fair. Anyways, let's see what Cure decides to go for in this particular game. No cheekiness this time around. We did see the drone going around the map again as well to make sure that there was not going to be any, you know, proxy barracks coming up from Cure. Cure probably a little bit frustrated though. Game number 1, he went for a cool build. But the cool build, I mean, it was also very expensive. And Serral just simply came out ahead there because he had way more stuff, right? Terran really didn't do any harassment there after the early game whatsoever. I think he killed like 2 drones in that very first game. Didn't really happen. Game 2, yeah, Cure won. But that's not really like, I don't know. You don't really feel that much more confident after a game like that, right? It's like, haha, I gotcha. But now we have to play the next game, right? Like, you showed that you can win, making a couple barracks on the other side of the map. Congratulations. Game 3, he played a stock standard build, nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever. He did that really well. But then the, you know, the structures in the main base got sniped. He forgot that he had a 4th command center for God knows what reason. And it was just not as clean, right? He did do a good job with the Hellion harass, I suppose, in the previous game. But he was thrown off a little bit. And, I mean, at this level, it's like the small things that add up very, very quickly. You can't really make a whole lot of mistakes against someone of the caliber of Serral. So we'll see what Cure decides to go for over here, because I can imagine this is a little bit demoralizing. I think you just go for a normal, straightforward game, kind of like you did in game number 3, but maybe even more normal, okay? Like even more standard. Don't go for any tricks. Don't try your luck. Just play your standard Marine siege tank based army. Once again, by the way, second refinery over here in the natural. There is an overlord all the way in the back. This one will probably be used for scouting here in just a little bit. But so far, this is looking really, really nice, right? I wouldn't even mind actually seeing a battlecruiser opener. I know that they have kind of fallen out of, you know, out of favor a little recently, but I still think that they are pretty good. Once again, by the way, 3.5-minute Roach Warren here for Serral. Second gas is coming up. This may actually be Serral. Third gas is going up. I think this may very well be Serral once again, either going for that push like he did on Pillars of Gold, or maybe go for an all-out assault, right? Because the problem there for Terran is that you really don't know what it is that Zerk is going for. Now, keeping this Overlord alive is really critical. So that's a really nice snipe there for Cure. When you go for a Roach Warren-based push, you really need to keep all your OVs alive. Because every Overlord that you lose basically cuts into the production that you can have, right? So, 5 roaches coming up. The question is he going to commit to more roaches here? He is adding on a couple Zerglings, but he once again goes Lair. Okay, so I think that this is just going to be a tiny bit of aggression once again, and then drones. Yep. So identical build to like the one that he played on Pillars of Gold. I like it, man. I like it. So the problem here for Terran is that you don't know if this is going to be an all-in. So look, this is what he sees. No drones at the third base, right? That scout over there is really, really important because it means that he can start up the bunkers. However, he now has no way to figure out, other than with scans, I suppose, but you can't really afford that. He has no way of knowing whether or not there's gonna be a all-out assault here for Zerk, if he's gonna go Ravagers and then a ton of Zerglings on the back of it as well, or if Zerk is just making a couple of Ravages and then drones behind it, right? By the way, if you morph into Ravages inside of one of these speed zones, they morph in twice as fast. Okay, that was a lie. Sorry. Sorry, that was a lie. I know some of you believed me right away, though. So, hey. Imagine that. Like, imagine if units and structures would produce faster inside of those zones. Is he paying attention? Oh, well, Serral's not even going to try. He made the assumption that Cure was paying attention. I don't think he was paying attention, though. 10 drones on the back of this. Spire already coming up. Man, this is a cool build. He's just happily droning. Now, this was a 3cc opener here from Cure, which is the reason why he's having a bit of a tough time dealing with these units over here. But he made 4 bunkers because he had no idea what he was going up against. Hit a supply block there as well. Forced to give that supply depot a little hat. It's these kind of things that add up, right? And it doesn't look like a big deal, but hitting a supply block at 7k MMR, I mean, it happens, but it's not supposed to, right? It's not supposed to. All right. Well, there we go. The piggy bank. The piggy bank bunkers were all salvaged. The third base eventually will be coming up. What's Cure gonna go for right now? Gonna start up with a little bit of harassment, it looks like. Spire will be finishing up here. Double Evo Chamber for the Zerg. 4th base for the Zerg as well. Bailing Nest is done. I think he probably starts up the Bailing Speed upgrade here after starting up the first clump of Mutas. Well, they are started up right now, so I'm pretty sure he will make that transition. Looks like the units in the main base also got sniped. He does need to start up Bane Speed, though. Yeah, okay, he starts it up right now. I was going to say, like, if you don't start it early enough, the Terran pushes can be very, very scary. And actually, this Liberator over here has been putting in work. It's got 3 kills, and it also denied mining time there for, like, hundreds of lost minerals. So that's, well, hundreds of potential lost minerals, I suppose, right? Like, he could have mined it, that's what I'm trying to say. So I don't mind this position here for Cure. Bailing Speed is not going to be done for a little while. So he could go for a push here with Stimpack and Combat Shield, and then +1/+1. He could go and hit a timing attack right now, and potentially, you know, do a lot of damage. Most of the time, though, Terrans tend to, like, not go for that build because they need to defend against that, right? Against these mutas. If you leave the main base alone, you're gonna have, like, units all over it. But there is potential. Well, the window is closing, though. Bailing Speed is gonna finish up here in about Ooh, this is nice. Bailing Speed is gonna finish up here in just a couple seconds, so I think that window is missed. Obviously, he didn't know exactly how quickly Serral was getting it, right? So it's difficult to make that, call. Okay. Oh my god. Serral getting a little bit cheeky here. Gets a medivac, I think? No, maybe not. Let's get a lot of Marines, though. Bailing Speed is done right now. Pneumatized Carapace is done as well. There's already a Zergling over at the 4th base. And once again, this is where Serral has a really, really strong foothold in this game. What exactly do you do at this point to break someone like him? I can tell you what breaks me in these kind of scenarios and what breaks most Zerg players in these kind of scenarios. It's a +2/+2 timing attack with a maxed out Terran force. There is no 4th command center here. So I don't mind the idea right now of Cure going for that all-out assault. It's just that Serral can see this coming right now from a mile away. And as long as he spreads a lot of creep and he just makes a gajillion banelings, he is going to be in a decent enough spot. Now notice here that the Zerg upgrades for 1-1 are not done yet, right? So they're going to finish up, well, right now in about 15 seconds, right? That's pretty good, but they are very, very late in the big picture. If you compare that right here to the upgrades that Cure has, +2/+2 is about a quarter of the way done. It means that he's got about a 30-second timing window where he's going to have 2 more upgrades than his opponent, which is absolutely massive. Especially when you go for a 3-base push where you only have like a limited amount of, like, you know, economy. So he's only got 60 SCVs right now, which is not a whole lot whatsoever. He started up this push a little early, which I like. So this way he is going to be able to finish up 2-2 by the time that the fight actually happens. Either that or Zerg is going to, you know, commit and force the engagement before that point. Siege tank sieging up in the back. Nicely done. Good push right here by Cure. Cure slowly moving forward. Trying to get rid of that creep. Mutas right now, though. Oh, there's a lot of them, and they actually do rally over a group of Marines. Get a siege tank on their way out, but that's a couple of Mutas finding their grave over there. +2/+2. Only just now, I would say about a quarter of the way done for Zerg. Whereas for Terran, they're going to finish in just a couple of, well, not a couple of seconds, but they're about a quarter of the way done. Or a quarter of the way from finishing. There you go. English, hard language. And this push over here is now looking real scary. Also, because of the fact that Zerg has way more money right now, coming in. They have way more supply dedicated to drones. This counterattack over here is nice, though. Yeah, this is really good. This is really, really good right now for Serral. They have a lot of supply caught up in workers, so that means that their maxed out army is not actually as scary as that of Cure. Zerglings, though, dealing an awful lot of damage. Mutas also going after those siege tanks. This counterattack is scary. Still, though, Cure. Hello. There you go. He is moving forward. 15 Marines are being produced at once. SCVs, I mean, a couple of them went down, but really not that many. I don't think this is a bad situation for Cure. Sitting on the edge of the creep. Here we go. I think that Serral wants to fight this. +2/+2 is done, by the way, for Cure. +2/+2 is going to finish up here for Serral as well. That's a lot of banelings, by the way. Oh my god. He's got to go up to, like, what is that? 67 banelings? Needed 2 more. Anyways, speaking of banelings, though, they're currently rolling into the natural expansion here of the Terran player. Once again, Zerglings coming in for the counterattack. A couple of the reinforcing Marines gunned down a few Mutas as well. And that actually means that was all the Mutas. Oh my god, all the Mutas are gone. I guess this is because Serral is forced to look at, you know, 17 different things at once. And he lost track of the Mutalisks, which is really, really rough. Right now, Terran tightening the noose over at the 3rd base. Oh, it comes down to the baneling connections. I love the fact that he is slowly, methodically moving forward here. Can he scan and kill that tumor? That would be fantastic. Siege tanks spread out absolutely wonderfully. How good are these splits of Cure going to be? He's gonna have to make sure that he splits up all of these bio units. Guns down all of those banelings as well. Phenomenal fight right there for Cure. And Serral is forced to tap out. That was awesome. Nicely done right there by Cure. Showing us what you can do if you're slow, if you're patient. But you just simply hold your ground, you wait for the creep to disappear, and you go for the kill very, very patiently. Alright, so, well, I would say that the second game, the one with the proxy barracks, wasn't likely to be a big confidence booster there for Cure at all. I mean, it was a nice game, but it doesn't really make you very confident in a best-of-5 series when you still have several games to play. I think that that previous game was. That was Cure playing a straight-up game against Serral and playing better than him, right? So, here we go. I'm excited to see what Golden Wall will bring to us. Now, that being said, though, about that previous game as well, it could have, like, slipped away from him very, very easily. It comes down to, like, one bad baneling connection or, like, you know, like, be it on the Marines or be it on the SCVs or something along those lines, right? And obviously, he also got a little bit lucky that Serral wasn't paying attention to his Mutas there. And I think a group of, like, I don't know, like, maybe 16 Marines must have gunned all of those bad boys out of the sky, which is fantastic for him, but obviously, yeah. It's something that Serral probably shouldn't have let happen. Have let happen? Probably something that Serral shouldn't let happen. Have let? I don't know. English is a weird language sometimes. Anyways, doesn't matter. You guys get what I'm trying to say, which I guess is the point of language, right? Trying to convey what I'm trying to... Anyways, here we go. Let us see what this game will bring. There's a lot of proxy locations on this map. Serral making 100% sure that there's nothing weird going on his side of the map. Now, obviously, this location over here, unscouted. There's a bunch of locations where his overlords haven't checked. But obviously, Terran, I mean, they're gonna have to commit the structures at least reasonably close. They're not likely to put their proxy barracks over there, because then it would take about as long as from their own natural to get across. Or maybe not quite, but you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah, if you want to commit to a proxy cheese, generally speaking, you want to put the structures as close to the opponent as possible. But this little SCV scout over here will already signify as well to Serral that everything is A-okay.
Command center upgrade complete.
Alright, so with the command center upgrade complete, a mule will be dropped from the high heavens. We don't really know where it comes from, but at this point, we're afraid to ask. The orbital command gets like a satellite on top of it, or it can like communicate with a satellite, and I guess it gets created from like scrap that is floating around. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways, it is going to be, of course, that factory follow-up once again. The 211 opener, the one with the 16 marine drop, generally speaking, doesn't get played anymore. A drone did already sneak away from the natural at about, I think, 0 minerals there. So Serral knew that he wasn't going to be able to produce that third hatch anyway, but he got it out before the Reaper could really slow down any third expansion. Nice little bit of harassment right here by that Reaper, though. Not really taking any damage so far. But while this is all going on, the Queen is out and the third hatchery does get planted down. So Cure goes up to check. He knew that there probably was a drone out there somewhere. And this is where, well, the Reaper sounds a little bit sad. It was supposed to get a drone kill or a Zergling kill or slow down the third base. And it got none of that stuff done. But, I mean, obviously that comes down primarily to the great control right there of Serral. Not much you can do about it. I mean, you can maybe dive in a little bit deeper with the Reaper, but you really do want to... That rhymed unintentionally. You do really want to, you know, keep it alive to your best of your abilities. Now, if you can get a creep tumor, that'd be sweet. Not quite going to happen, though. No. Alright, so... Nematized Carapace coming up here as well, so that's a small deviation there by Serral. He likes going for that on this particular map. Third command center once again coming up before the starport. Greedy opener here from Cure, but I like it. He's been going for this pretty much every single game. Once again, takes the second gas geyser in the natural. Nice little, yeah, nice little play. If you're a Terran player... Oh, actually, let me switch back there. If you're a Terran player, I actually really like this. So, oftentimes, right, if Zergs end up scouting the natural and they see a third gas geyser taken so quickly, they will assume that it's a battlecruiser opener. Well, in this particular case, it's going to be a Banshee opener instead. But, yeah, only, you know, 2 gases are taken here. So, one Speed Overlord will scout out the entire main here of the Terran player. And while the cloaking upgrade starts up here for just a little bit, wouldn't be surprised if this is actually fake. Maybe not. No, maybe not. No, he probably does want to keep this one around then for at least a little while longer. Once again, a bio transition here as well for Cure. Let's see how much damage he can do. Queens on the perimeter, guarding their creep tumors. Maybe he can get this one down. That'd be nice. Yep. Oh, there you go. Oh my God, for Reaper there. I think they gunned down the Reaper because they knew that that he would be in the line of fire there to hit that tumor as well. Little bit of a nasty hit there by Cure. But, I mean, yeah, that Reaper didn't get any creep tumor kills. It didn't get any... Well, I guess it got the creep tumor kill over there, but not earlier into the game. It didn't get any drone kills. Didn't kill any Zerglings. Didn't slow down the third base. Apparently, this was the reason why he was kept around. To, yeah, be part of the splash damage of those aliens. That way, they didn't have to scan. Anyways. Yeah, so the Banshee cloaking field is going to finish here. There's 2 Banshees. Second one will be joining in as well. And I like this. The gold base has been acquired by Cure. So this is a little bit cheeky. Let's see how much pressure Serral is going to put on. Lair is coming up. This time around, actually, Serral decides to go double upgrades before Lair. So this is something that most of the time Zerg players will do when they know that the Terran player is playing relatively passively. So with that really quick third command center, you can't really get too much done. 1 drone so far. Yeah. One drone is nothing, man. How many drones? Yeah, that's the first drone. Okay. Gotta have that good control. I don't think this really justifies the Cloak Banshee opener. I think one of the reasons why Cure decided to go for the Cloak Banshee opener in this particular game is because of that Ravager opener that we've now seen twice in this series. So, if you know, Serral would have gone for that Roach opener once again in this particular game, right? Yeah, these Banshees would have been absolutely fantastic. Now it's starting to work out, though. This was a decent amount of kills. 9 drones here at this point in the game is not bad at all. He did lose one of those Banshees as well for it, but I mean, that's reasonable. I like this scan. Slow down the Zerg spread, or the Zerg spread, the creep spread, in whatever way you can. Okay. Not bad. Just like previously. I'm a fan. Can we kill that tumor? Nicely done. Ooh. Good cloaking reaction right there as well. And while the queen is probably going to try and... Oh, wow. Ran out of energy. It was probably going to lay down some creep tumors once again. She also sniped that one bad boy. Or bad girl, I guess, right? Yeah, the Banshees are bad girls for sure. Okay. So, armory is coming up. Additional barracks are now also being produced. +1/+1 will finish up here very shortly too. This does create a potential timing window, but like I said many a times, usually they will wait for just a little bit longer, get 2-2 going instead, and go for a maxed out Terran push. But just slowing down the creep threat here is already nice. Now, Zerglings apparently came in with the run by over at the natural expansion. Ugh. At the same time, oh my god, did I just miss it? Hold up, I'm gonna back up. Haha, through the magic of video editing, nobody even noticed this. We're back in the past. This is when those Marines are moving out. Zerglings are running up top, but I missed this one. An Overlord filled up with juicy Banelings is making its way towards the third base location. So while Terran's looking over there, and in the natural, the Banelings come in over at the third base, and this is where the multitasking of Serral really, really pays off. He kills 18, 21 SCVs just like that. And yeah, a little bit of damage was done, I guess, in the center of the map, but that's a lot. That is a lot. Terran busy microing the Marines in the center of the map, microing in the natural. You can't really see everything, right? Believe it or not, pro gamers, they only have 2 eyeballs. Don't know why I had to specifically mention eyeballs, but, well, they only have 2, okay? They're not chameleons where they can, like, you know, move around their eyeballs in in individual directions. Do you think that's a mutation that that would be the ultimate pro gamer, man? There must be someone out there with the eye mutation that can move their eyes individually, so they can look like top left hand corner and then like bottom right hand corner or whatever, or bottom left hand corner and top. Or they can look at like 2 different sections of the screen at once. There must be someone out there. That's the ultimate pro gamer gene right there. Okay, well, I don't think either of these 2 has it, though. And that does mean indeed that Cure takes a lot of damage. Oof. Starting to look a little bit sloppier right now. Once again, Zerglings get into the natural, despite the fact that there's a full wall off, and then also a ton of Marines waiting. A couple of Banelings there connected with the Marines in the center of the map. Cure, obviously, certainly not out of this game yet. But this is the comfort zone of Serral, and we've seen this many a times. Once he gets to this position of the game, he gets Mutas, he gets Zerglings, he gets Banelings, he gets Queens, he gets a good creep spread, he secures the 5th base. Life becomes much, much better for the finisher. We'll see how much damage he can do with the Mutas this time around, but this is where map control goes in favor of the Zerg, and where, like, Cure is always got to be playing from the back foot. It's very difficult to... yeah, to defend against this properly. I think it can be done, though. I think it can be done. I think you can defend this perfectly and then still go in for the timing attack perfectly as well. Now, one thing that I do quite like here for the Terran player is that 2-2 is finishing up. But notice here, with that really quick Evo Chamber upgrade that we saw earlier, Serral already is done with his +2/+2. He's not going up towards a Hive here either, so that does mean that he wants to probably go, well, he's probably going to go for a Hive here eventually, but he probably wants to go for a big engagement here in just a little bit. If Terran does decide to not go in for their own 2-2 push. Either that, or he can just, you know, absolutely roll over this Terran bull. So last time around, we had a double upgrade advantage for Cure. This time around, though, the upgrades are going to be even. That makes a big difference. A lot of Zerglings and Banelings once again attempting to go into the third base and the natural. Remember when Raynor was known for his Ling run-bys? I feel like Serral took a page out of Raynor's book there, man. He has been attempting so many Ling run-bys, and while not all of them are successful, they have been doing really well on the whole. Alright. So, S+3/+3 starts here for Terran. He's roaming around the map with a big force, but Zerg only just now starts up the Hive. So, if 3-3 finishes in this game, it's going to be a long while until Zerg is going to be able to finish it. That is something worth noting. +3/+3 is going to be really quick. Serral does see this as well. Oh my god, well, here we go. Apparently, he doesn't wait until those upgrades are done. He decides to engage these Terran units off creep. The Terran units are up against the mineral wall right there. They do manage to, well, at least some of them manage to slip away. Ooh. Most of the time, Serral won't be engaging off creep, but that was, yeah, a very limited amount of movement there. How many Marines have fallen so far in this game? That's 84 versus 146 Zerglings. This right now has knocked back Cure's army supply count to a significantly lower amount. I think that trait right there for Serral was pretty good, but not like amazing, right? You can see like resources lost wise, he still has lost more than the Terran. Actually, the main base right now is floating on over to the 4th base. Cure decided to go for a push like he did in game, what was it? Game 4. Yeah, the one that we just watched. On Death Aura, right? Like, it was a good push, but right now he's been slowed down. Now, one big advantage, though, and I really want to emphasize this, is the upgrades. Once again, that's huge. 3-3 is going to finish up like a minute and a half before that of Serral, right? Serral is going to get Adrenal Glands. He's going to get the +2 flyer upgrades, and that's fine. But I feel like Cure has a big opportunity right when those upgrades finish. Now, obviously, he needs to make sure that he can capitalize on it as well, though. And I feel like he needs to go for the move out right about right now. Maybe he doesn't have enough units for it, though. Yeah, I think he's probably a little worried about that. The Muta's also still being an absolute nuisance. There's a lot of units in the top right-hand corner as well to go after the 4th base. Cure never really made a whole lot of SCVs this game. He lost, obviously, a bunch as well, but he hasn't made a ton. I think what we're about to see is a Terran player go for a complete all-in. So, he's probably looking to max out. Make one massive ass army. It's gonna be like 150 army supply, which is fantastic. And then go in for the assault. That does mean that this little push from Serral over here is what Cure wants. Yeah. So he's scanning over here. There's Banelings over here though. Not quite in the same location. Alright. Well, with the Terran army moving out, the Zerg army is moving in. Mutas are flying across as well. Is he paying attention? Cure! Cure! Well, that's a lot of dead SCVs, I would say. At least the lift up there on the 4th base. At the same time, the Mutas are going to town over at the golden base as well. So those SCVs will go down. But here we go. Cure, he's putting his eggs in one basket. He's moving deep onto the creep. Look at how far he's moving here before sieging up the tanks. That is absolutely nuts. Well, this is apparently also going to be the moment that Serral decides to commit with the siege tanks not getting their additional shots in. Good fight there for Cure, though, all things considered. Obviously, the reinforcements, though, for the finisher are going to be significantly better. 19 SCVs full. More of those Marines are being produced as well. Ultralisks are coming up right now, too, and I think that might just be a little bit too much Zerg. Good attempt right there by Cure. But now with the Ultras joining in the fray as well. I mean, all that Serral needs to do is just hold on, right? All he needs to do is just hold on. There's another Ultralist coming. Queens are pulled away from their hatcheries to transfuse those Ultras back up to full health. GG is cold. And just like that, Serral obtains the victory in a best-of-5 series, 3-2 over Cure. Really nice series. I hope that you enjoyed watching this game. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you didn't like it, I guess, feel free to hit that dislike button. It's all good. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you guys once again in the next one for another video.